Wednesday night brought the first debate of the 2020 presidential cycle, with 10 Democrats gathering in Miami. On Thursday night, 10 more Democrats, including the polling frontrunners, former Vice President Joe Biden and Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont, will hit the same stage. There weren't many fireworks as the candidates were forced to split up the limited time, but there were some glaring technical issues and candidates taking jabs at President Trump without making him the focus of the gathering. Here are 5 key takeaways from night 1. 1. The field is divided on health care. The first, and perhaps most, contentious issue of the night was health care, as the assembled Democrats compared the merits of a more comprehensive single-payer plan like Medicare for All, which would completely eliminate private insurance, versus a more incremental step of a government-funded public option. The standout moment came from Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts, who gave an impassioned defense of the more expansive position, her first time really doing so. There are a lot of politicians who say it's just not possible, we just can't do it, have a lot of political reasons for this, said Warren of the fight for single-payer. What they're really telling you is they just won't fight for it. Well, health care is a basic human right and I will fight for basic human rights. Senator Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota made the case for a public option, pointing out that it was the position of then-President Obama in the early stages of passing the Affordable Care Act. Klobuchar said she was simply concerned about kicking half of America off their health insurance in 4 years, which is exactly what this bill says. 2. Castro had a strong night. One of the lower-tier candidates who managed to distinguish himself was former Housing and Urban Development Secretary Julián Castro. His main push came on immigration, where he was the first Democrat to lay out an expansive plan for an issue that a recent Gallup poll found to be the most important problem overall cited by Americans. Castro, who aims to be the first Hispanic president, said the photo of Oscar and Valeria Martinez, 2 migrants who died crossing into the United States, should piss us all off. He also tussled with fellow Texan Beto O'Rourke over decriminalizing border crossings, continuing to take shots at him in the spin room following the debate. Castro also came on strong for abortion rights, promoting reproductive justice and receiving cheers in the room. Former CBS News anchor Dan Rather inquired via Twitter if anyone thought Castro had a good night, receiving hundreds of positive replies, including from Castro, with many suggesting him as a running mate for Warren. 3. Tres candidates showed off their Spanish skills. Beto O'Rourke answered his first question at Wednesday's debate in both English and Spanish. The former Texas congressman was asked whether he would support taxing high earners, as has been proposed by some of his Democratic rivals. This economy has got to work for everyone and right now we know that it isn't, O'Rourke said, and it's going to take all of us coming together to make sure that it does. Without pausing, the El Paso native switched briefly to Spanish. Later, he even fielded a question in Spanish from Telemundo's Jose Diaz-Balart. But O'Rourke wasn't the only candidate to flex his bilingual abilities on Wednesday. Castro and Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey did so too. 4. NBC had a hot mic fail. Heading into Wednesday's debate, NBC executives insisted the event wasn't about the network or their talent. The show is not about the moderators, NBC News executive Rashida Jones told the Associated Press earlier this week. But about halfway through it became, for a few awkward moments, exactly that. A hot mic issue forced Chuck Todd to abandon a question about gun violence to Elizabeth Warren when Savannah Guthrie, who had just handed off co-moderating duties to Todd and Rachel Maddow, could be heard on the live broadcast from backstage. We are hearing our colleagues' audio, Todd explained. If the control room could turn off the mix, you know, we prepared for everything, Maddow said, laughing. We didn't prepare for this. Todd quickly went to a commercial break. The glitch did not go unnoticed for one viewer aboard Air Force One. NBC News and MSNBC should be ashamed of themselves for having such a horrible technical breakdown in the middle of the debate, President Trump tweeted while en route to the G20 summit in Osaka, Japan. Truly unprofessional and only worthy of a fake news organization, which they are. 5. It was a historic night for women. Wednesday night was a historic one in that it was the first time more than one woman stood on a presidential primary debate stage as Warren, Klobuchar and Rep. Tulsi Gabbard of Hawaii joined 7 men in the forum. It was a block noted by Klobuchar when Washington Governor Inslee mentioned his record on reproductive rights. I just want to say there's 3 women up here that have fought pretty hard for a woman's right to choose, she said to loud cheers in the room. On Thursday night, that new record will be tied when Senator Kamala Harris of California, Senator Kirsten Gillibrand of New York and spiritualist author Marianne Williamson take the stage.